Hello everyone, WallsMan105 here, and I don't normally do these, but it is Snapshot Day, and today is 24w33a, and oh, they made some minecart changes. Going through some of these improvements, let's see here. So all the minecart improvements are in an experiment, so that's one of those toggles you have to make while creating a new world. And they say our long-term goal is to make vehicle travel like minecarts viable for players compared to other late-game options, making them smooth, consistent, predictable. With this feature toggle, we are laying a foundation. I'm going to get back to that in a moment, but they say they are aware these changes will break some existing contraptions, so they want to collaborate with the community. They are not aimed at any future release at this time. They are to try out changes and gather feedback. So this is not something that's coming out in the next Minecraft version. This might not be in the next 2 versions, but it will happen eventually, and they want feedback from the community. It starts with movement changes. Now minecarts are going to articulate their movement better when going fast, riding on the rail all the time. Now, that's a problem that's happened where they kind of shudder and jerk around a lot. Now, they turn very smoothly on the track and are less likely to halt or derail. We will get into that because it is huge. Minecarts can now jump better. They keep their vertical momentum when a track ends in a slope, and they will tilt visually when in the air. And they also won't play the rail grinding sound when they're flying through the air, which is kind of nice. Minecarts will tend to play their rail grind sound when they're moving, regardless of whether or not there's a rail under them. That's always been a little weird. Now, players following the rotation of minecarts as they ride is now an accessibility setting. This was a bug for the longest time, where if you were, going down a minecart track and it was spinning, you wouldn't rotate with it. Now that it's an accessibility setting and it defaults to off. And this is the meat and potatoes of the changes. The new game role, Minecart Max Speed, changes the max speed of minecarts. Now, I have a plugin I very much love called High Speed Rail that lets you place blocks under powered rails to cause this effect. But it's not as powerful as this. It defaults at 8 and goes up to 1,000 blocks per second. Oh, we're going to get into testing that. Now, setting to a specific value does not guarantee that max speed because there's built-in things like air resistance and slopes that'll have to be overcome. Changes to minecarts, they can no longer be stacked on top of one another like this. It used to be that you could place pretty much an infinite number of minecarts in the same block, but it looks like that's no longer going to be the case with these changes, and honestly, while that does break a lot of infinite one-block storage options with minecart chests, I think it's worth it. They can now be placed consistently next to each other along a track. Previously, if you had placed minecarts directly next to each other, you could have some jiggling cause as their hitboxes collided. Now, they're also supposed to be able to pick up mobs more consistently while moving. And they have a section here that's listing known impacts. So, piston bolts won't work or will have their behavior changed. Very delicate rail networks are going to have issues with their timing because momentum has been apparently completely rewritten, which we'll get into in a moment. And contraptions that rely on minecarts snapping to rails will no longer work or will have their behavior changed. Now, after using another portal, minecarts and boats only leave the portal for 0.5 seconds to use a portal again, which is down from 15. TNT minecarts, a field value has been added to speed-based explosion power. Interesting. That's in the data pack version, which I'm assuming governs what you can and can't do with data packs. There is a new tag, and this is insanely exciting. Furnace minecart fuel. So now you can add items that are allowed to be used to refuel furnace minecarts. Currently, it's only charcoal and coal. I'm assuming this means you can have any item act as furnace minecart fuel, but I'm assuming it's going to be limited to furnace fuels. So lava buckets, bamboo. This is going to be interesting. Back in our little snapshot world here, if I get in this and I do game rule, minecart max speed. Now the default is 8. So if we go to 16, you'll see that we are moving fairly quickly. And if we do If we get to this corner here, you'll see that we really accurate movements here. However, if we do max speed 64, 8 times the original, we are really, really moving. Whew. And it's worth noting, we pretty much stopped on these two unpowered rails, and we did not derail. These are both behaviors that would have been problematic in previous systems. If we go over here and we go to the max 1000, you'll see that we still, even as we get to these speeds, we still do not derail. Oh, there's the tilting. Not only do we still not derail, we still get close to stopping with these two, which is insane. And another fun fact, these speeds also determine the speed of furnace carts. For now, guys, that's all for this video. I'm going to be running more tests, and I'm sure there are 1,000 people, and one Canman18, who are going to be running 1,000 more tests with this system. So I cannot wait to get this going. But for now, I just want to do a quick little video to talk about the Snapshot and how excited I am for it. Oh, minecart improvements are in the works. This is great.